Hello, this is the Alpha Nerd, and I'm doing a deck profile for my friend Trevor here. The deck I play is Zombiesworns. It's a very interesting deck, very fun to play. I'm still working out some balancing issues, but the deck does really well for me, so here it is. Here's my zombie engine.
I just threw you a dice action, bro. I was calling your name. Come on, man. Come on. Nah, I said I threw the dice action.
That's really all you need. Mizuki is just recovery to bring one random zombie monster. Plague Spreader is the only tuner in the deck. Spirit Reaper is just a great defensive card. Next up is the Dark Engine, I call it. 2 Necro Gardenas, 1 Chaos Sorcerer, 1 Gores, and 1 Darkon Dragon. I feel that this is enough to summon Darkon Dragon fairly often. With the Necro Gardeners, you got Graveyard Control. Gores is a great recovery card. Next up, we got Honest, staple for Lightsworn cards. Raikou, I only like him at 1 because if you've got 2 or 3 with this deck, it's kind of slow. I feel that it's a bit defensive, but I just like him at 1. Arcus, the reason I use him is protection from a lot of big effects that just hit Lightsworns. Deprison, Fiendish Chain, I guess. But the main reason I use him is because of the 2 Luminas. With Arcus, it gives level 3 Exceeds. It gives them a bit more consistency. I could, summon 1 Lumina, discard summon the other, discard summon Arcus, and just bring out something. Terabyte, Granosaurus. Next up is Aaron, just an amazing card. As good as she is, I only like her at 1 for just the consistency of the deck. 2 Lilas, I mean, they're basically the MSTs of the deck. Jane, I really like him, and I've considered playing him at 2. Runs over Spies, Thunder Kings, plenty of stuff. So, Gareth, he's the main draw power. This is usually a very fast deck, but sometimes you just can't draw the Judgment Dragon. That really helps with that. Next up is Wolf. I like him at 1 just because he's a horrible card to draw. The only real thing you can do with him is Lumina him off, Zombie Master him off. But he's a great card to use. Celestia at 1, just because with this deck you don't want to be tributing too much. And then 3 Judgment Dragons are just basic for the deck. So now for the spells and traps. Foolish Burial. The whole deck is a target basically. Necro Gardeners, Plague Spreader, Mizuki, Wolf, any Lightsworn basically, but it's a great target. Yeah, it's a great card. Monster Reborn, Dark Pull, Heavy Storm, 2 MSTs to bounce out the Lilas, and a Mirror Force. Those are the staples of the deck. Just the staples I choose. This deck is very light on traps because of all the spell and trap hate going around in this format. Next up is Book of Life, just because I've got the zombies in. It's also sort of my DD Crow of the deck. But I don't like it at 2 or 3 just because I've got so few zombies. I don't use the Goblin Zombies. So it gives it a little bit of consistency, but it doesn't really hurt the deck. It's a dead draw a lot of the time. Barrow from a Different Dimension. It's great for going up against those DD Crows that remove stuff you need from the graveyard. It's also got great targets with Necro Gardener. It's got Mizuki and Plague Spreader, so I can just bring them back to the graveyard and reuse their effects. For recovery, I have 2 Beckoning Lights and 1 Monster Reincarnation. 2 Beckoning Lights is a great consistency. Discard your whole hand, add a whole bunch of light monsters into your hand. Judgment Dragon, any Lightsworn card. Monster Reincarnation, I use that with the Beckoning Lights mainly because occasionally I need like a dark monster like Darkon Dragon. But it helps. Charge of the Light Brigade is just a great card. It's a staple in every Lightsworn deck. and then 2 solar recharges. I don't like this at 2 just because it can be a dead draw itself, especially late game when you've milled all your Lightsworns already. Well, anyway, that's the deck. This is the Alpha Nerd. Thanks, Trevor, for sponsoring me, or whatever you want to use here. But see you around.